श्लोक महला तीजा। मानस भरिया आणिया मानस भरिया आए। जित पीते मत दूर होए बरल पवै विच आए। आपना पराया ना पछाणे खसमो धक्के खाए। जित पीते खसम विसरै दरगह मिलै सजाए। झूठा मद मूल न पीछे जे का पार वसाए। नानक नदरी सच मद पाइयै सतगुर मिलै जिस आए। सदा साहिब कै रंग रहै मैली पावै थाओ। One person brings a full bottle and another one fills his cup. By drinking the wine, their intelligence departs and madness comes to their mind. They cannot distinguish between their own and others, and they are struck down by God and Master. Drinking it, they forget that Vaheguru and they are punished in Vaheguru's court. Do not drink the false wine at all if it is in your power. O Nanak, the true Guru comes and meets the mortal by his grace. One obtains the true wine. He shall dwell forever in love of God and Master and obtain a seat in the mansion of his presence. ਇਹ ਜਗਤ ਜੀਵਤ ਮਰੈ ਜਾਂ ਇਸਨੂੰ ਸੋਚੀ ਹੋਏ। ਜਾਂ ਤਿੰਨ ਸਵਾਲਿਆ ਤਾਂ ਸਭ ਰਹਿਆ ਜਗਾਏ। ਤਾਂ ਸ਼ੁੱਧ ਹੋਏ ਨਾਨਕ ਨਦਰ ਕਰੇ ਜੇ ਆਪਣੀ। ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਮੇਲੇ ਸੋਏ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜੀਵਤ ਮਰੈ ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਮਰਨ ਨ ਹੋਏ। When this world is able to understand, it remains dead while yet alive. When Vaheguru puts a person to sleep, he remains asleep. When he wakes him up, he regains consciousness. O Nanak, when God casts his glance of grace, he causes him to meet the true Guru. By Guru's grace, remain dead while yet alive, and you shall not have to die again. Pauri जिसका कीता सब किछ होवै। तिसनो परवाह नाहि किसै केरी। हर जियो तेरा दिता सब को खावै। सब मोहताजी कड्डै तेरी। जे तुदनो सलाहे सो सब किछ पावै। जिसनो कृपा निरंजन केरी। सोई साह सच्चा वणजारा। जिन वखर लदया हर नाम धन तेरी। सब तिसैनो सलाह्यो संतो। जिन दूजे भाव की मार विटारी तेरी। By his doing, everything happens. What does he care for anyone else? O dear God, everyone eats whatever you give. All depend on you. One who praises you obtain everything. You bestow your mercy upon him, O immaculate God. He alone is true banker and trader who loads the merchandise of wealth of your true name, O Vaheguru. O saints, let everyone praise that Vaheguru who has destroyed the pile of love for duality. Shalok Kabira Marta Marta Jagmua Mar bhi na jane koi. Aisi marni jo marai bahur na marna hoye. O Kabir, this world is dying, dying to death, but no one knows how to truly die. Whoever dies, let him die such a death that one does not have to die again. महला तीजा क्या जाना किव मरेंगे कैसा मरना होए। जेकर साहिब मनो ना विसरै तां सहला मरना होए। मरने ते जगत डरै जीवियां लोड़ै सब कोई। गुर प्रसादी जीवत मरै हुक्मै बूझै सोए। नानक ऐसे मरनी जो मरै ता साध जीवन होए. What do I know? How will I die? What sort of death will that be? If I do not forget my Vaheguru from my mind, then my death will be easy. The world is terrified of death. Everyone longs to live. By Guru's grace, one who dies while yet alive, understand Vaheguru's will. O Nanak, one who dies such a death lives forever. जो आप कृपाल होवे हर स्वामी, ता अपना नाम हर आप जपावे. आप सतगुरु मेल सुख देवे, अपना सेवक आप हर पावे. अपनिया सेवकां की आप पैज रखै, अपनिया भगतां की पैरी पावे. धर्म राय है हर का किया, हर जन सेवक नेर नावे. जो हर का प्यारा सो सबना का प्यारा, होर केती चख चख आवे जावे. When the God, the Master himself becomes bountiful, the God himself causes his name to be chanted. He himself causes us to meet Satguru, and he himself blesses us. His servant is pleasing to Vaheguru. He himself preserves the honor of his disciples, causing others to fall at the feet of his devotees. The righteous judge of dharma is also a creation of that Vaheguru. That judge does not approach the humble servant of Vaheguru. One who is dear to Vaheguru is dear to everyone. There are many others who come and go in vain. श्लोक महला तीजा. राम राम करता सब जग फिरै, राम न पाया जाए. अगम गोचर अत वड्डा, अतुल न तुल्या जाए. कीमत किनै न पाया, कितै न लया जाए. गुर कै शब्द भेदया, इन बिध वसया मन आए. नानक आप अमेय है, गुर कृपा ते रहा समाए. आपे मिलया मिल रहा, आपे मिलया आए. This whole world is roaming around chanting Ram Ram, O God, but that God is not obtained this way. He is inaccessible, unfathomable, and great. He is unweighable. He cannot be weighed. No one can evaluate him. He cannot be purchased at any price. Through the word of Guru Shabad, his mystery is known. In this way, he comes to dwell in the mind. O Nanak, he himself is infinite. By Guru's grace, he is known to be permeating and pervading everywhere. He himself comes to blend, and having blended, remains blended. महला तीजा. ए मन एहो तन नाम है, जित सदा सदा सुख होए. तोटा मूल ना आवई, लाहा सद ही होए. खादै खर्चियै तोट न आवई, सदा सदा हुदे. सहसा मूल न होई, हाणत कदे न होए. नानक गुरमुख पायै, जाको नदर करे. O my soul, this wealth of Naam, through it comes peace forever and ever. It never brings any loss. Through it one earns profits forever. Eating and spending it, it never decreases. Vaheguru continues to give forever. One who has no doubt at all never suffers any humiliation. O Nanak, the Gurmukh obtains the name of Vaheguru when Vaheguru bestows his glance of grace. Pauri, Ape sab kat andare, Ape hi bahar. Ape gupt vartata, Ape hi chahar. जुग छत्ती गुबार कर वर्त्या सुनार. ओथै वेद पुराण न शास्ता, आपे हर नर हर. बैठा ताड़ी लाए आप सब दूही बाहर अपनी मिताप जानदा आपे ही गोहर He himself is deep within all hearts and he himself is outside them. He himself is prevailing, unmanifest, and he himself is manifested. For 36 ages he created the darkness abiding in void. There were no Vedas, Puranas or Shastras there, only the God himself existed. He himself sat in absolute trance, withdrawn from everything. Only he himself knows his state. He himself is the unfathomable ocean. Slok Mahalla Tija Haume vich jagat mual Mardo marda jaye Jichar vich dam hai tichar na chetai Ke kare go agay jaye Gyani hoye so chetan hoye अज्ञानी अंध कमाए नानक एथै कमावै सो मिलै अज्ञै पाए जाए In egoism, the world is dead. It dies and dies again and again. As long as there is breath in this body, one does not remember God. What will one do in the world hereafter? One who remembers Vaheguru is truly wise spiritually. The ignorant one acts blindly. O Nanak, whatever one does in this world determines what one receives in the world hereafter. Mahalla Tija Turkhas mein ka hukm paya Bin Satgur chetya na jaye Satgur miliye antar rav rahya Sada rahya liv laye Dam dam sada samalda दम न बिरथा जाए जन्म मरण का पाओ गया जीवन पदवी पाए नानक एहो मर्तबा तिसनो दे जिसनो कृपा करे रजाए From the very beginning, it has been the will of Vaheguru, that Master, that he cannot be remembered without the true Guru. Meeting the true Guru, one realizes that Vaheguru is permeating and pervading deep within one. One remains forever absorbed in God's love. With each and every breath, one constantly remembers Vaheguru in meditation. Not a single breath passes in vain. One's fears of birth and death depart and one obtains the honored state of eternal life. O Nanak, one bestows this rank upon that mortal upon whom he showers his mercy. Pauri Ape dana binaya Ape pardhana Ape roop dikhalda Ape lai dhyana Ape muni vartada Ape kathe gyana Kaura kise na lag gayi Sabna hi pana Ustat baran na sakiye Sad sad kurbana Vaheguru himself is all-wise and all-knowing. He is supreme. He reveals his form and he himself enjoins us in meditation. He himself poses as a silent sage. He himself speaks spiritual wisdom. He does not seem bitter to anyone. He is pleasing to all. His praises cannot be described forever and ever. I am sacrificed to him. Slok Mahalla Pehla Kali Andar Nanaka Jinna da Avtar Put Jinnu Rati Jinnuri Joru Jinna da Sikdar. In this dark age of Kal Yuga, O Nanak, the demons have taken birth. The son is a demon and the daughter is a demon. The wife is the chief of the demons. Mahalla Pehla Hindu Mule Pule Akhuti Jahi नारद कह्या से पूछ कराही, अंधे गूंगे अंध अंधार, पाथर ले पूछे मुगत गवार। ओए जा आप डूबे तुम कहाँ तरणहार। The Hindus seem to have forgotten that primal one being, one divine. They are going the wrong way. As Narad instructed them, they are worshipping idols. They are blind and mute. They are blindest of the blind. The ignorant fools pick up stones and worship them. But when those stones themselves sink, who will carry them across? पौड़ी सबके हो तेरे वस है, तू सच्चा शाह। भगत रते रंग एक कै, पूरा विसाह। अमृत भोजन नाम हर, राज राज जन खाह। सब पदार्थ पायन, सिमरन सच लाह। संत प्यारे पार ब्रह्म, नानक हर गम गाह। Everything is in your power. You are the true king. The devotees are imbued with love of one God. They have perfect faith in him. The name of God is ambrosial food. His humble servants eat their fill. All treasures are obtained by meditating on God. That is the true prophet. The saints are very dear to Supreme God. O Nanak, Vaheguru is unapproachable and unfathomable. Slok Mahalla Tija, Sab kich hukme avdar, Sab kich hukme jai, Je ko मूरख आप हो जाने, अंधा अंध कमाए। नानक हुक्म को गुरमुख बुझाए, जिसनो कृपा करे रजाए। Everything comes by Vaheguru's will, and everything goes by his will. If some fool believes that he is the creator, such fool is blind and acts in blindness. O Nanak, the Gurmukh understands the hukum of God's command. Vaheguru showers his mercy upon him. Mahalla tija, so jogi जुगत सो पाए, जिसनो गुरमुख नाम प्राप्त होए। तिस जोगी की नगरी सबको वसाए, पेखी जोग न खोए। नानक ऐसा विरला को जोगी, जिस कट परगट होए। He alone is a yogi, and he alone finds the way. Who as Gurmukh obtains the Naam. In the body village of that yogi are all blessings. This yoga is not obtained by outward show. O Nanak, such a yogi is very rare. The God is manifest in his heart. Pauri, Ape Jantu Payan, Ape Adhar, Ape Sukhum Paliye, Ape Pasar, Ape Kati Hoir hai, Ape Vad Parvar, Nanak Mangay Dan Har, Santare Nar, Hor Datar Na Sujai, Tu Devan Har, Shuddha. He himself created the creatures, he himself supports them, he himself is seen to be subtle, and he himself is obvious. He himself remains a solitary recluse, and he himself has a huge family. O Nanak, I ask for the gift of the dust of feet of the saints of Vaheguru. I cannot see any other giver. You alone are the giver, O Vaheguru Shuddh. Ik Omkar Satnam Karta Purakh Nirpal Nirvair Akal Murat Ajuni Sepang Gur Prasad Raghavand Hans Mahla Pehla Kar Pehla Amli Amalna Ambada मच्छी नीर न होए, जो रत्ते सह आपने, तिन पावे सब खोए. Such people who are imbued with the love of Vaheguru can never be satiated without the attainment of Vaheguru, even if they were offered all the worldly possessions, just as a drug addict can never feel satisfied without taking the drug, or a fish without the supply of water. हौं वारी वंजा खनिए वंजा तो साहिब के नावे रहा. O Vaheguru, I would offer myself as a sacrifice to your true name and surrender myself in bits and pieces completely to you. Pause. साहिब सफल्यो रुखड़ा अमृत जाका नाव, जिन भी आते तृपत भये, हों तिन बलिहारे जाओ. My Vaheguru, my true God, is like a fruit-bearing tree which bears the fruit of nectar of true name, and such people who partake of this fruit of true name, they are fully satisfied. I would therefore sacrifice myself to such saintly people. मैं की नदर ना आवही, वसे हम बियां नाल, तिखा त्याया क्यों लहे, जा सर पीतर पाल. O true Master, you are pervading everywhere, being omnipresent, but I cannot perceive you due to my egoism. The thirsty person cannot avail of this opportunity even though there is a water tank, because there's partition wall of ignorance and egoism between us and Vaheguru. नानक तेरा बाणिया तू साहिब में रास, मानते तो खाताल है, जा शिफ्त करी अरदास. O Nanak, the God is my true master and I am his slave, a trader owing money to the financier. I would seek the capital of love from my financier to start my business in life. My doubts and misgivings, including dual-mindedness, would be cast away provided I pray to Vaheguru by singing his praises. वडहंस महला पहला, गुणवंती शौराव्या निर्गुण कुके काए, जे गुणवंती धीर है, तामे शौरावण जाए. Why are the virtueless people, the faithless one, making so much noise with jealousy, seeing the Guru-minded people having all the virtues, enjoying the unison of God's spouse and his conjugal bliss? If you were also to develop certain virtues and qualities, then you would also be enabled to enjoy the bliss of God's unison. मेरा कंत रिसालू की तन अवरा रावे जी रहा. O friends, my God spouse is the fountainhead and an ocean of all bliss and worldly comforts. Then why do the faithless person go to others for this enjoyment? Why the wedded woman seeks the conjugal love of other person? करणी कामण जे थिए, जे मन तागा होए, माणक मुल न पाइए, लीजै चित परोए. If we develop certain virtues and perform good deeds, then only we could expect to gain ways and means of God's love, like having a necklace around the neck, as one cannot attain Vahiguru's love by making some payment except by inculcating his love in one's heart. ਰਾਹ ਦਸਾਈ ਨਾ ਝੁਲਾ ਆਖਾਂ ਅਮੜਿਆਸ ਤੈ ਸ਼ਹਿ ਨਾਲ ਅਕੂਣਾ ਕਿਉਂ ਥੀਵੈ ਘਰ ਵਾਸ. A person asks for a path but do not follow the way shown to such a person and still claim to have reached destination. Such a person do not speak with Vahiguru, with you, O my husband God. How can such a person come to have a place in Vahiguru's home? Such a person who does not talk to Vahiguru, the God's spouse, can never enjoy the bliss of God's unison and enjoy peace of mind. Nanak eki bahra दूजा नाही कोई तैसे लगी जे रहे भी सहोरावे सोए. O Nanak, there is none else except true God who is equal in power. So by imbibing the love of Vahiguru, we could enjoy the bliss of God's unison, being immersed in each other. वडहंस महला पहला कर दूजा मोरी रुन चुन लाया पैणे सावण आया तेरे मुंद कटारे जेवड़ा तिन लोभी लोभ लुभाया. तेरे दर्शन विठों खनिए वंजा तेरे नाम विठों कुर्बानो जा तू तामें किया है तुद बिन केहा मेरा मानो. O sister, O my friend, I am enjoying reciting Guru's word just as the peacock is thrilled with the advent of the monsoon and makes dances around, making certain sounds in its enjoyment. My eyes are twinkling with the love of worldly pleasure, like a wedded woman for the love of her spouse. I am offering myself as a sacrifice to God's true name, just as a separated woman craves for her spouse and pines for his glimpse. I feel proud and egoistic only when I won over the love of Vahiguru, just as a wedded woman without the love of her spouse has no pride or respect anywhere. So without love of God's spouse, what is my value? चूड़ा पन पलंग स्यों मुंधे सणबाही सणबाहा इते वेस करेंदिए मुंधे शौरा तो वराहा ना मनियार ना चूड़िया ना से वंगड़िया जो सह कंठ न लगिया जलन से बाहड़िया. O friend, if your spouse has gone away leaving you in the lurch, then all your embellishments are useless, and it is better to throw away your bangles along with all other preparations of beautiful beds. Similarly, without the presence of God's spouse, all our worldly love and pleasures are meaningless. O foolish friend, your God spouse is enjoying in the company of other people. So what is the use of all your efforts at beautification? If God's spouse deserts you without giving the bliss of life, then this life is a total loss. All the bangles, beauty aids are useless, including our own conduct, which is equally of no avail, and such people who are not enjoying the embrace of God's spouse undergo various sufferings and deserve criticism. Those arms which do not embrace the neck of husband God, they burn in anguish. सब सैया सौरावण गैया हों दाधी के दर जावा अमाली हों खरी सुसज्जी तै शह एक न पावा माठ गुंदाई पट्टियाँ परिय मांग सिंदूरे अग्गे गई न मन्निया मरो विसुर विसूरे मैं रोवंदी सब जग रुन्ना रुनड़े वणो पखेरो इक ना रुना मेरे तन का बिरहा जिन हो पिरहो विछोड़ी. All my companions have gone to enjoy their husband God. Which door should I, the wretched one, go to? O friend, I may look very attractive, but I am not pleasing to my husband God at all. I have woven my hair into lovely braids and saturated their partings with vermilion, but when I go before him, I am not accepted, and I die suffering in anguish. I weep, the whole world weeps, even the birds of the forest weep with me. The only thing which doesn't weep is my body's sense of separateness, which has separated me from my Vahiguru. सुपने आया पी गया मैं जल भरया रोए आए न सका तुझ कन प्यारे भेज न सका कोए आओ सुभागी नींदड़िए मत शहो देखा सोए तय साहिब की बात जे आखे को नानक क्या दीजै शीश वड्डे कर बैसण दीजै विन सिर सेव करी जै क्यों ना मरी जै जीड़ा ना दीजै जा शहो भया विडाणा. The God spouse appeared in my dreams but went away soon without giving his blissful company, and my eyes were filled with tears, and now I madly am searching for him. O Vahiguru, how could I approach you or send any message through the emissary to meet you? I wish I could perceive the beloved God in my dream at least. O Nanak, what should I offer in return to such a person who relates stories of my God spouse and sings the praises of my God spouse? I would behead myself and offer my head even in his service, thus serving the God without my egoism, with complete self-surrender. O friend, it is better to die and give up this life, as the God spouse has been separated from me and belongs now to someone else. Without the love and support of God's spouse, this life is meaningless, so it is better to give up in our pursuits to unite with him. Vadhans mahalla tija kar pehla ik ओंकार सतगुर प्रसाद मन मैले सब किछ मैला तन तो तै मन अच्छा न होए ए जगत परम भुलाया विरला बुझै कोए. With the impure mind, everything else is dirty and impure. By washing the body alone, the mind cannot be purified. The whole world is lost in whims and fancies, but hardly any wise and fortunate people realize this fact. जप मन मेरे तू एको नाम सतगुर दिया मोको एहो निधान रहाओ. O my mind, mind, let us recite only God's true name, as the true Guru has blessed us with this treasure of true name. Pause. सिद्धा के आसन जे सिखै, इंद्री वस कर कमाए, मन की मैल न उतरै, हौ मैं मैल न जाए. The filth of the mind is not cast away, including the dirt of egoism, by practicing various yogic exercises or siddhas rituals for controlling the senses, including meditation in complete silence or giving alms. इस मन को होर संजम को नाही, बिन सतगुर की शरणाए, सतगुर मिलिए उल्टी पई, कहना किछु न जाए. Without the true Guru's guidance and support of Sadguru, there is no other mode of action to curb this wandering mind. It is not possible to relate the state of such people who have been diverted from path of sinful actions towards virtuous deeds through Guru's guidance. पढ़त नानक सतगुर को मिल दे मरै, गुर कै शब्द फिर जीवै खोए, ममता की मल उतरै, इह मन अच्छा होए. O Nanak, such person who gives up his egoism leads a life of humility in the company of the true Guru, like a dead person, while some Guru-minded people lead a fruitful life through Guru's word. The mind then gets purified by getting rid of the filth of worldly love and its attachments. Vadhans Mahalla Tija, Nadri Satgur Seviye, Nadri Seva Hoye, Nadri Human Vasave, Nadri Man Nirmal Hoye, मेरे मन चेत सच्चा सोए, एको चेत है ता सुख पावै, फिर दुख न मूले होए. रहाओ. When Vaheguru bestows his grace on us by serving the Guru, that is the true service. Thus this mind gets purified and subdued through Guru's grace. O my mind, let us remember the true God as by reciting the true name of that one and only God, that God sublime, we could enjoy the bliss of life, getting rid of all our ills and afflictions. Pause. Nadri mar kya jeeviye, nadri shabd vasai man aaye, nadri hukm bujhiye, hukme rahe samaye. It is through Vaheguru's grace that we could follow the God's will, and being immersed in His will, we lead a life of humility through God's grace and get imbued with love of Guru's word. Jin jeva har ras na chakhyo, sa jeva jal jao, anaras saade lag rahi, dukh paya dujay paaye. Let the tongue be burned, which has not tasted the nectar of true name. In fact, such a person engrossed in dual-mindedness suffers through various afflictions while enjoying the worldly pleasures. Sabna nadar ek hai, ape farak kare, Nanak Satgur miliye, phal paya, naam vadai de. O Nanak, all the human beings are bestowed with the God's grace and benevolence, but it varies in each person as per his will. The Guru-minded people in the company of the Guru have gained the fruit of true name, and they enjoy the singing of God's praises through Guru's grace. Vadhans Mahalla Tija, माया मोह गुबार है, गुर बिन ज्ञान न होई, शब्द लगे तिन बुझिया, दूजै परज विकोई. The whole world is lost in darkness of ignorance. Being engrossed in worldly falsehood, it cannot extricate itself from this bondage without Guru's guidance. This human could realize Guru's knowledge through Guru's grace by following Guru's teachings, else the world suffers due to its involvement in dual-mindedness. मन मेरे गुरमत करणी सार सदा सदा हर प्रभ रवै ता पावै मुख द्वार रहाओ. O my mind, whatever we do in this world, following the Guru's instructions and guidance, is supposed to be worthwhile and real worship. The Guru-minded people who remember his true master always realize salvation or true knowledge and sing the praises of Vaheguru. Pause. गुणा का निधान एक है आपे देता को पाए बिन नावे सब विछड़ी गुर कै शब्द मिलाए. The God alone is the fountainhead of all treasures like true name, and one gains this wealth only when Vaheguru bestows his grace on us. However, the whole world being separated from him undergoes all sorts of sufferings without attaining true name. In fact, the world could merge with Vaheguru by following Guru's word in the company of the holy saints and realizing the nectar of true name as a blessing. मेरी मेरी कर दे कट गए तिन्ना हाथ क्यों ना आया सतगुर मिलिए सच मिले सच नाम समाया. The whole world deprecates the importance of its true value or its worth due to its involvement in egoism and I-amness. As such, the worldly man does not gain anything and wastes the life. But once the man gets the company of holy saints and the true Guru, he gains true name or truth, with the result that the Guru-minded people remain immersed in true name all the time. आसा मन सायो शरीर है अंतर ज्योत जगाए नानक मन मुख बंद है गुरमुख मुकत कराए. O Nanak, this human body is always engrossed in fulfillment of worldly desires and hopes, while the Guru-minded people are enlightened with the light of Vaheguru, gaining complete knowledge of Vaheguru. So the Guru-minded people finally cross this ocean of life with the support of true name, while the self-will ones, they waste their lives in worldly pursuits, being engulfed by the false hopes and worldly desires. Vidhans mahalla tija sohagani sada mukh ujjala gur ke sehaj subhaye sada piraveh apna vichon aap gavaye. The Guru-minded people are always having charming face lit with satisfaction like the wedded wife, and they become deserving recipients of equipoise and peace of mind through the Guru's guidance. Such Guru-minded people always enjoy the bliss of God's spouse by ridding themselves of egoism and following the dictates of Vaheguru's will, as the dutiful wife enjoys the conjugal bliss of her spouse. मेरे मन तू हर हर नाम ध्याए सतगुरु मोको हर दिया बुझाए रहा. O my mind, you should always recite Vaheguru's true name. My true Guru has made me understand with full knowledge that this life should be utilized in meditating on God's true name alone. Pause. दुहागणी खरियां बिल्लां दियां तिन्ना महल न पाए दूजे पाए करूपी दुख पावहि आगे जाए. The self-willed people, they're always wailing and crying for the loss of the bliss of love of God's spouse, like the deserted wife being deprived of the conjugal bliss of the spouse. Such faithless, ugly people, due to their dual-mindedness, always have to face sufferings in this world and undergo punishments at the God's court as well. गुणवंती नित गुण रवै हृदय नाम वसाए अवगुणवंती कामणी दुख लागै बिललाए. The Guru-minded people always sing the praises of God by inculcating the God's love in their hearts and enjoy the bliss of God's love through recitation of true name, like the beautiful wedded wife enjoying the bliss of her spouse's company. On the other hand, the self-willed, faithless people are always crying and wailing at wasting their lives without gaining anything, like the deserted spouse. सबना का पतारे एक है स्वामी कहना किछु न जाए नानक आपे वेक कीतियन नामे लयन लाए. O Nanak, there is only one God spouse for all Guru-minded or self-willed people, but nothing could be said about him as to how to keep him pleased with us. The God normally keeps aloof from the self-willed people, keeping them away from him, and unite with himself the Guru-minded people by bestowing them with his true name through his grace. वटहंस महला तीजा अमृत नाम सद मीठा लागा गुर शब्दी साध आया सच्ची बाणी सहज समाणी हर जियो मन वसाया. I have enjoyed the sweet nectar of God's true name and enjoyed its bliss through Guru's word. Moreover, I have inculcated the love of God in my heart by being enlightened with Guru's word, an embodiment of truth, and getting immersed in the God in the state of equipoise. हर कर कृपा सतगुरु मिलाया पूरे सतगुरु हर नाम ध्याया रहाओ. The God, through His grace, has enabled me to unite with the Guru, and then the true Guru has, through His grace and guidance, enabled me to recite true name of Vaheguru. Pause. Brahme Ved Bani Paragasi Maya Moha Pasara Mahadev Gyani Varte Kar Apne Tamas Bahut Ahankara. The God Brahma, who has brought to the world the knowledge of Vedas, is himself engrossed in the love of Maya, worldly falsehood, while creating this world. Even the God Shiva, who is always immersed in the meditation of God, is always furious due to his egoism. Kisan sada avatari rudha kit lag tare sansara Gurmukh Gyan Rate Jug Antar Chuke Moh Gubara. The God Vishnu is also engaged in creating various incarnations due to his clever moves. Then whose guidance should this world follow to cross this ocean of life successfully? It is only the people who have been enlightened throughout the ages through Guru's guidance so as to dispel the darkness of ignorance and rise above the three-pronged Maya. Satguru Seva Te Nisatara Gurmukh Tare Sansara Sache Nae Rate Bairagi Payan Mokh Dwara. The Guru-minded people have crossed this ocean of life successfully by serving the true Guru. Thus the people immersed in God's true name with love and worldly detachment have attained salvation. एको सच वर्तै सब अंतर, सबना करै प्रतिपाला। नानक इकस बिन मैं अवर न जाना, सबना दीवान दयाला। O Nanak, there is only one God sublime, who is pervading within the various beings and is looking after the sustenance of the whole world. I have not recognized any other power except the true God, who is the support and God benefactor of all. Vidhans Mahalla Tija, Gurmukh Sach Sanjam Tat Gyan, गुरमुख साचे लगे ध्यान। गुरमुख मन मेरे नाम समाल, सदा निभ है चलै तेरे नाल रहाओ। The Guru-minded people have followed the path of truth and got enlightened with the knowledge of Vaheguru. Such Guru-minded people are always imbued with the love of God through meditation. O my mind, you should recite true name through the Guru's guidance, which will accompany you to the next world after giving support here as well. Pause. गुरमुख जात पत सच सोए, गुरमुख अंतर सखाई प्रभ होए। गुरमुख जिसनो आप करे सो होए, गुरमुख आप वडाई देवै सोए। The God is the only caste of the Guru-minded people, with their honor resting with him. The Guru-minded people have realized the God within their heart, who is the protector of the saints. The person with Guru's guidance attains the grace of God, and then such people become praiseworthy and get acclaimed in the world. Gurmukh Shabad Sach Karni Sar, Gurmukh Nanak Parvare Sadhar. O Nanak, the Guru-minded people always seek a life of truthfulness through the Guru's word. Thus the Guru-minded people help the family members as well to cross this ocean successfully. Vidhans Mahalla Tija, Rasna har saad lagi sehaj subhaye। मन तृप्त्या हर नाम ध्याए, सदा सुख साचै शब्द विचारी। अपने सतगुर विठों सदा बलिहारी रहाओ। Now the tongue has tasted the nectar of Vaheguru's true name with its sweetness, which has led to the state of equipoise and perfect peace in the normal course. So the heart is fully satisfied with the recitation of true name. The Guru-minded people who contemplate on Guru's word and teachings with concentration of mind, they always enjoy the bliss of life in meditating on true name, and they offer themselves as a sacrifice to the true Guru. Pause. Akhi santokhiya ek liv lai, man santokhiya duja pao gavaye. Such Guru-minded people have gotten their eyes to be satiated with concentrating their glance on the true God, and then they attain peace and tranquility of mind by getting rid of their dual-mindedness. Deh sharir sukh howe, shabad har nae, naam parmal hirday raya samaye. The body and soul also feel the pleasure and joy of reciting God's true name through the Guru's guidance, as the sandalwood-like fragrance of true name remains imbued in their hearts. Nanak mastak jis vad paag, गुर की बाणी सहज बैराग. O Nanak, the Guru-minded people who are fortunate enough and are predestined with Guru's will, they attain the state of complete detachment from worldly pleasures by singing praises of Vaheguru through the Guru's word in the state of equipoise, and they finally merge with him. Vadhans Mahalla Tija पूरे गुर ते नाम पाया जाए सच्चे शब्द सच समाए ए मन नाम निधान तू पाए अपने गुर की मन ले रजाए. In fact, it is through the grace of perfect Guru alone that one attains true name. Then by following the true word and following Vaheguru's dictates and God's will, one could merge with Vaheguru. O my mind, if you were to accept the dictates of God as per His will, then you will be able to attain the treasure of God's true name. Pause. Gur ke shabad vichon mail gawai निर्मल नाम वसै मन आए. By listening to Guru's word, one could wash away the filth of the mind, thus enabling the individual to inculcate the love of God's pure and true name in the heart. पर में भूला फिरे संसार मर जन्मै जम करे खुआर नानक सेवड पागी जिन हर नाम ध्याया गुर प्रसादी मन वसाया. However, the whole world is wandering aimlessly, being engulfed by whims and fancies and misconceptions about Vaheguru, so that the individual goes through the cycle of births and deaths, being punished by the Yama. O Nanak, the Guru-minded people are really fortunate who have recited God's true name and through Guru's grace have inculcated the God in their hearts, and finally they united with the true Master. Vadhans Mahalla Tija हों मैं नावे नाल विरोध है दुए न बस है एक ठाए हों मैं विच सेवा न होवई तामन बिरथा जाए हर चेत मन मेरे तू गुर का शब्द कमाए हुक्म मन्ने ता हर मिले ता विचों हों मैं जाए Egoism in the mortal is exactly opposite to the name of Vaheguru. The two of them cannot dwell in the same place. In egoism, selfless service cannot be performed, and so the soul goes unfulfilled. O my mind, think of the God and practice the word of the Guru's Shabad. If you submit to the hukum of God's command, then you shall meet with Him. Only then will your ego depart from within. Pause. How में सब शरीर है, how में ओपत होए, how में वड्डा गुबार है, how में विच बुझ न सके कोए. Egoism is within all bodies. Through egoism, we come to be born. Egoism is total darkness. In egoism, no one can understand anything. हौमे विच भगत न होवई, हुक्म न बुझिया जाए. हौमे विच जियो बंद है, नाम न वसै मन आए. In egoism, Devotional worship cannot be performed, and the hukum of God's command cannot be understood. In egoism, the soul is in bondage, and the name of Vaheguru, does not come to abide in the mind. नानक सतगुर मिलिए हूँ मैं गई तां सच वसिया मन आए सच कमावे सच रहे सच्चे सेव समाए. O Nanak, meeting with the true Guru, egoism is eliminated, and then the true God comes to dwell in the mind. One starts practicing truth, abides in truth, and by serving the True One, gets absorbed in Him. Vadhans mahalla chautha, kar pehla, ik onkar satgur प्रसाद सेज एक एको प्रभ ठाकुर गुरमुख हरावे सुख सागर मैं प्रभ मिलन प्रेम मन आसा गुरपुरा मिलावे मेरा प्रीतम हूँ वार वार अपने गुरु को जासा रहा. This person has only one abode within his inner self, where Vaheguru, the true master, is seated, and it is the Guru-minded person alone who enjoy the bliss of God, the ocean of all virtues and pleasures in the abode of their hearts. They enjoy the eternal bliss of unison with the God's powers. Due to the love of Vaheguru in my heart, I have only one hope, that I may get a glimpse of Vaheguru, thus uniting with him finally. I would offer myself as a sacrifice to the Guru time and again, who alone could enable me to merge with beloved God. Pause. मैं अवगण परपुर शरीरे हाँ क्यों कर मिला अपने प्रीतम पूरे. My body is overflowing with all sorts of vices and shortcomings. How could I meet my beloved God without the guidance of the Guru, as I am full of vices? जिन गुणवंती मेरा प्रीतम पाया से मैं गुण नाही हाँ क्यों मिला मेरी माया. हाँ कर कर थाका उपाव बहु तेरे नानक गरीब राखो हर मेरे. There are some virtuous, Guru-minded people who have united with God's spouse, my beloved God, like the wedded wives possessing good qualities joining their spouses. How could I, the bereft of all virtues, qualities, and deeds, unite with my beloved God? I do not have them. How can I meet with him, O my mother? I am so tired of making all these efforts, O Nanak. I've tried many means, many approaches to unite with my true God, but without any success, and now I feel helpless. O true Master, may you protect my honor and enable this poor helpless man enjoy the bliss of a glimpse of your vision, bestowing your true name. Vadhans महला चौथा मेरा हर प्रभ सुंदर मैं सार न जानी हाँ हर प्रभ छोड़ दूजै लोभानी. My beloved God is really very beautiful and charming, but I was such a fool that I could never appreciate his greatness or true worth. Instead, I was always engrossed in the worldly falsehood, Maya, due to my own dual-mindedness, having completely forgotten my God's spouse. हाँ क्यों कर फिर को मिलो यानी, जो फिर पावे सास सुहागण, साई फिर को मिले सियाणी रहाओ. Would anyone tell me how could a fool like me unite with my beloved God? The wife who wins over the love and acceptance of her spouse could be considered as a wedded wife or her beloved, and she alone could unite with her beloved spouse. Pause. मैं विच दोस हाउ क्यों कर फिर पावा, तेरे अनेक प्यारे हाउ फिर चित ना आवा. O true Master, how could I unite with my beloved God spouse, as I'm full of defects and I'm full of shortcomings? O Vaheguru, there are so many people who love you and are your favorite followers, so you may not be even remembering me or recollecting me in your mind. जिन फिर रावया सा पली सुहागण, से मैं गुण नाही हो क्या करी दुहागण. Just as it is only that fortunate wedded women enjoy the bliss of their spouses, there are very few Guru-minded people who have enjoyed the bliss of the unison with Vaheguru. Moreover, I do not possess any good qualities or virtues even, and I am just like a discarded wife. How could I enjoy the bliss of a spiritual unison with Vaheguru? नित्य सुहागण सदा पिर रावे, मैं कर्महीन कब ही गल लावे. तू पिर गुणवंता हो अवगणियारा, मैं निर्गुण बख्श नानक विचारा. The Guru-minded people always enjoy the bliss of life in the unison with the beloved God spouse, just as a wedded wife enjoys the conjugal bliss of a union with her spouse. I am such an unfortunate person that I do not know even if beloved God would accept me in his class. O Nanak, I am just a poor and humble person having no virtues within me. O Vaheguru, may I become worthy of your grace and enjoy the love of your arms. Pray, listen to me, my prayers, though I am full of vices, whereas you are a charming Vaheguru. You are full of virtues and good qualities. वडहंस महला चौथा, कर दूजा एक ओंकार सतगुर प्रसाद. मैं मन वड्डी आस हरे, क्यों कर हर दर्शन पावा. हों जाए पुछा अपने सतगुरै, गुर पुछ मन मुगद समझावा. O true Master, I have great hopes in my heart as how to get a glimpse of your vision. I would rather meet my Guru to seek his advice so as to give the right guidance to this foolish mind of mine. Pula man samjhe gur shabdi, har har sada tyai. नानक जिस नदर करे मेरा प्यारा, सो हर चरणी चित लाए. This foolish mind has been made to realize the truth through Guru's word, and then it is able to recite Vaheguru's true name. O Nanak, the person who is bestowed with the grace of my beloved God gets attached to the lotus feet of Vaheguru. Har Har. हाँ सब वेश करी फिर कारण, जे हर प्रभ साचे पावा. सो पिर प्यारा मैं नदर न देखे, हाँ क्यों कर धीरज पावा। जिस कारण हाँ श्रृंगार श्रृंगारी, सो पिर रत्ता मेरा अवरा। नानक तन 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 सुहागण, जिन पिर रावेड़ा सच सवरा। I dressed myself in all different sorts of robes for my husband God, so that my true Vaheguru will be pleased. But my beloved husband God does not even cast a glance in my direction. How can I be consoled? For his sake I adorn myself in adornments, but my husband God is imbued with the love of another. O Nanak, blessed, blessed, blessed is that soul bride who enjoys her true, sublime husband God. How jai puchhan sohag sohagan, तुसी क्यों पिर पायड़ा प्रभ मेरा। मैं ऊपर नदर करी पर साचे, मैं छोड़ेड़ा मेरा तेरा। सब मन तन जियो करो हर, प्रभ का इत मार्ग पैणे मिलिए। आपना प्रभ नदर कर देखे, नानक जोत ज्योति रलिए। I would rather go and ask the soul brides, such people who have endeared themselves to the God's spouse, as to how they have managed to enjoy the conjugal bliss of my beloved God. I was told by them that they have won the acceptance and grace of beloved God, having given up I amness and egoism and adopting humility. O friend, you could also unite with Vaheguru by surrendering your body and soul completely to him and ridding yourself of I amness. O Nanak, we could gain unison of Vaheguru when he blesses us with his grace and benevolence and get our soul merged with the prime soul. जो हर प्रभ का में दे स्नेहा, तिस मन तन अपना देवा। नित पखा फेरी सेव कमावा, तिस आगे पानी टोवा। नित नित सेव करी हर जन की, जो हर हर कथा सुनाए। तन तन गुरु गुर सतगुर पूरा, नानक मन आस बुझाए। I would offer my body and mind, self-surrender completely to the person who would bring some news, message of my beloved God. I would serve such a person by all means, and serve this person by fanning him or bringing water like a water carrier. I would serve such a God's devotee who would deliver me discourses of Vaheguru, the Sublime Being. O Nanak, blessed and praiseworthy is the true and perfect Guru who has helped me to fulfill my desires. Gur Sajjan mera mel hare, jit mil har naam tyava। Gur Satgur pason har gosht puchha, कर सांझी हर गुण गावा। गुण गावा नित नित सद हर के, मन जीवै नाम सुन तेरा। नानक जित वेला विसरै मेरा स्वामी, तित वेलै मर जाए जियो मेरा। O true Master, may I be enabled to meet such a friendly Guru in whose company I could sing Vaheguru's praises by reciting true name. I would seek the guidance of my true Guru so as to listen to the discourses of beloved God and then sing the praises of Vaheguru in the company of Guru. O true Master, I feel thrilled by singing the praises of God all the time and by listening to the true name. O Nanak, I would feel completely dejected like a dead person when I forsake the true name of God. I feel completely dispirited by forgetting Vaheguru's worship. हर वेखण को सब कोई लोचै सो वेखै जिस आप बिखाले जिसनो नदर करे मेरा प्यारा सो हर हर सदा समाले सो हर हर नाम सदा सदा समाले जिस सतगुर पूरा मेरा मिलिया नानक हर जन हर इक्के होए हर जप हर से तीर लिया. Everyone is longing for having a glimpse of Vaheguru, but only that person perceives his glimpse who is blessed with this opportunity by Vaheguru himself. The person who is bestowed with the grace of beloved God is enabled to recite his true name. Whosoever is united with perfect Guru is enabled to recite true name by caring to preserve it with devotion. O Nanak, the person who manages to unite with God through love and devotion becomes one with Him through recitation of true name. Vadhans Mahalla Panjama Kar Pehla Ik Omkar Satgur Prasad At Uchata Ka Darbara Ant Nahi Kich Paravara कोट 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 लख तावै इक तिल ताका महल न पावै. We cannot comprehend the greatness of Vaheguru as his abode and palace is truly great and of the purest form. There are millions of people trying to realize and gauge his depth and greatness in the three ages, past, present, and future, but without success and do not realize his grandeur or meditate on him. Suhavi kon sumela jit prabh mela rao lakh bhagat jako aradhe lakh tapisar tap hi sadhe lakh chugisar karte joga lakh pugisar poghe poga. What is that auspicious moment when God is met? Blessed must be the time and moment when one is united with Him. Pause. How great is that God whom millions of saints are trying to realize, millions of mendicants are undergoing penance to grasp Him, millions of yogis perform yoga to attain Him, and millions of householders are enjoying worldly pleasures, seeking Him in their own way, and the worshippers offer Him all sorts of offerings to propitiate Him. Kat kat vaseh jane thora hai koi sajan parda tora karo jatan je hoye mehirwana ताको दे जियो कुर्बाना. The God pervades every speck of earth and also all places and beings, thus knowing all our secrets, but there would be hardly anybody who has united with Him and realized His secrets by removing the barrier of ignorance, doubts, and dual-mindedness between oneself and Vaheguru. If God were to bestow His grace on us, we could also realize His secrets or greatness through our efforts. I would in fact offer myself as a sacrifice to my true Master. फिरत फिरत संतन पे आया दुख प्रम हमारा सगल मिटाया महल बुलाया प्रभु अमृत पूंचा Kaho Nanak Prabhu mera ucha. Once I got the company of holy saints after wandering all over the place. The saints helped me to get over my misgivings and sufferings. Vaheguru then had me united with himself by calling me in his presence, where I got satiated by partaking the nectar of true name and enjoying the eternal bliss. O Nanak, I have now realized that my true master is the greatest and highest authority in the universe, and I enjoy the bliss of his unison always through meditation of true name. Vadhans Mahalla Panjama Tanu Sovela Jit Darsan Karna Hau Balihari Satgur Charana जी के दाते प्रीतम प्रभ मेरे मन जीवै प्रभ नाम चितेरे रहाओ. Blessed is the time, the hour when we are enabled to have a glimpse of the true God. I offer myself as a sacrifice to the lotus feet of Satguru, the true Guru, who enabled me to meet with Vaheguru. O beloved and true Master, you bestow your blessings on all your creatures and beings. I always enjoy the bliss of life by remembering you and reciting your true name only, and I feel the thrill of life. Pause. Sach mantra tumhara amrit vani, sheetal purakh drishta sujani. O Vaheguru, your true name is the real and true mantra, ambrosial, and your utterance, Guru's word, is really sweet like the nectar. O Vaheguru, the fountainhead of peace and tranquility, your grace is really full of joy, peace and bliss. Sach hukum tumhara takhat nivasi, aaye na jaave mera prabh vinasi. तुम मेहरबान दास हम दीना, नानक साहिब परपुर लीना. O God, O true Master of truth, your will is supreme and true. O my Vaheguru, the imperishable one, you are permanently established on your throne, and you are not controlled, affected by the cycle of births and deaths. O Nanak, the God is always so kind to us, bestowing his mercies and grace on us, while we are his humble servants. O Vaheguru, you are our true Master, and you pervade everywhere and in all beings in equal and full measure, but no one could compare with your greatness. Vadhans Mahalla Panjama Tu बेअंत को वेला जाने, गुर प्रसाद को शब्द पछाणे, सेवक की अरदास प्यारे, जप जीवा प्रभ चरण तुम्हारे. O true Master, you are limitless and so great that no one could comprehend you. It is only very few Guru-minded people who could realize your secrets and greatness, but it is only through the grace of the Guru that one could really understand Vaheguru's secrets and thus realize the meaning of Guru's word. O beloved God, my only prayer to you is that I may always enjoy the bliss of life by reciting your true name, by taking refuge at your lotus feet. Pause. दयाल पुरख मेरे प्रभु दाते, जिसे जनावो तिन्हें तुम जाते, सदा सदा जाई बलिहारी, इत उत देखो ओठ तुम्हारी. O God benefactor, you are merciful and the greatest benefactor of man, bestowing your benedictions on us. Whoever is blessed with your grace through Guru's guidance gets to know your secrets and finally gets united with you. Vaheguru, I offer myself as a sacrifice to you. I'm always seeking your support everywhere, whether in this world or hereafter, and would spend this life in your service. In fact, you are my mainstay in life. मोहि निर्गुण गुण किछु न जाता, नानक साधु देख मन राता. O Nanak, I have not really understood God's greatness or realized His virtues and benedictions. O Vaheguru, I have inculcated your love in my heart in the company of holy saints, and I am always immersed in your true name, thus finally merging with you.